How's it going, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Investment Realtors Podcast.
Go to Realtors, brought to you by and sponsored.
Lewis and Justin here. So we got a good show for you today. Today we are going to talk about something that we get asked a lot and we kind of see every day just in the life of a realtor, really. It's just stuff that we get asked a lot. And it's what to look for when interviewing a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. What's the difference? What's this? What's that? Some little key things to look for.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say we're biased. We like to think that we practice what we preach, and everything that we do is honest and upfront. I mean, we have our old saying where if we wouldn't buy the property, we wouldn't let our clients buy it. So I mean, that's kind of our motto with everything. We do see some shady things in this industry that, it's unfortunate. It always takes the few bad apples to ruin it for everybody else. But that's what we're going to try and kind of mitigate on today's episode and see if maybe there's something we could do to help you guys.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the biggest investment you'll ever make.
That's for sure.
Most likely is your house, especially if it's your first house. So things to look for and things to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah. Especially with all the paperwork mumbo jumbo that we go through.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people that we help oftentimes have had a bad experience that have said, oh, well, I didn't sign this, or I don't remember signing that, or are you
That's
sure?
That's a big one.
That is a big one. There's been
not remembering what you signed or not getting it gone through by your agents, a really big one. So
absolutely.
So if we start buyer agents.
Yep.
First thing you look for with a buyer agent is?
So reputable. We always like to see what's their proven track record, what's their conversion, and I mean, like everything else, it's a numbers game. So if they've had a huge success with a lot of their buyers, they're obviously probably doing something right. Now, with that, obviously, like we mentioned before, paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork. Now, some of the ignorance does fall on the agent for getting people to sign things
without reading them.
But we've even come into a lot of situations where we've had clients that say, well, I didn't sign that, or I don't know, I was just signing it for that particular property. So, I mean, there is no ignorance is bliss when it comes to contract law.
So would you say if you were meeting a buyer's agent for the first time, or let's say you met one at an open house or whatever, and when going through the paperwork, he never stopped to go through with anything with you, you saying right away red flag?
Red flag. I mean, if they're just trying to get you, if they're not going through the paperwork that protects you as the average consumer, they're just doing it for their meal
quick
ticket.
Sale. That's it.
That's it. They're like the fly-by-nights, as we like to say. They're here today, gone to tomorrow, and there are a lot of those. And the first and foremost is the paperwork has to be in order. They need to explain everything on the process. Everything takes a process. Obviously, you got to walk before you can crawl. So, I mean, when we introduce ourselves to our buyers at first, we always go through paperwork first. What's expected on our end? What's expected on theirs?
Yeah. So, do you like to? Would you recommend to, let's say, first-time home buyers, because we all know that's probably the scariest buying situation, your first time, right? Do you recommend, even before going out to see a property, if your agent were to say, why don't we sit down, have a coffee, and kind of go through what you're looking for, what's expected of you? Should you have your pre-approvals done? Should you know what your budget is? Should you know what everything is before even going out to see a place? Do you recommend that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we can kind of speculate on what we've seen, and we're talking from experience on how we run our business. So our first and foremost is we always sit down with our clients first. Exactly. Whether they've done a pre-approval, oftentimes when we're working with a client, especially on the first home time buy, we usually get them in touch with the professionals that they need.
Our mortgage brokers.
So we know, okay, the pre-approval is good. The pre-approval is the first step. Once they have the pre-approval, then we go through our whack load of paperwork, buyer representation, confirmation of cooperation as you get further along into the deal. But these are all paperworks we like to go up front. They're FinTrack. So that way, I mean, oftentimes we're asking for a lot of information that can kind of seem that it's overbearing, or why would you need to know
intrusive.
that?
Sometimes it feels intrusive.
Absolutely. Like we need to know for FinTrack, the specific account number that a deposit came from, which could be scary. A lot of people with these frauds and scams that go on. So in our first kind of buyer consultation, we always go through the same thing. We go through the paperwork and kind of what the steps are.
Yeah, no surprise. We don't want surprises for our clients.
No.
We want everything to be out in the open.
Yes.
We want just nothing be like, oh, by the way, I need this now.
Absolutely. And I mean, we also like to describe it as a roller coaster. There's the ups,
There's
the
ups and
downs, but that's what we're here for. We're here to navigate it. We're here to make it kind of as painless and easy as a transaction can be.
Yep.
And eliminate pain points.
Pain points. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to eliminate
Absolutely.
pain points. Okay, so you sit down with your clients, they're first-time home buyers. You
Yep.
go through everything.
Pre-approval is good.
Pre-approval is good. You know what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
Now, on the first couple showings, what do you like to do? Because obviously they've never looked at houses before. This is the first time they're actually in the game, ready to go, and they could pull the trigger that day if they like something. What are some of the things you like to, how do you like to set up the showings, and what do you ask of them after every showing to kind of get a gauge on what they think of the property?
So we always like to kind of not limit expectations, but kind of see where our clients are at. Oftentimes, they'll think, for example, they want an apple, but really what they wanted was an orange. So a big part of our job with paperwork is to help gauge expectations, help them understand what exactly they're looking for. I mean, if you're a first-time home buyer, you're probably looking to minimize expenses. Oftentimes there's the other things like, okay, what are you paying now yearly for your taxes? That's an added expense. So we always try and, there's no one shoe fits all. We always try to gauge the expectations and just kind of help them see what they want. Now, usually the first time out, it's pretty crazy. We'll show them something that we might know for sure is a dead no, but we still need to show them to make them understand, well, okay, if we've seen this and we didn't like that, well, now something we didn't like is actually something we did like, and it helps them better understand what it is they're looking for.
So you give them both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
A house we know they don't like and a house we think they might like.
Yes.
Mix in some other comparables, right?
Absolutely.
So really the first day out, I'm pretty sure most first time with our clients, we book at least like 5 to 10 showings if they're available on the market.
Absolutely.
Right now it's a little slow, but we'll put in as many and we'll fit them in half an hour. So it's like boom, boom, boom.
And I mean, that's not to say we're trying to waste their time by showing them something obviously that wouldn't work for them. You need to kiss a lot of frogs to
find the prince.
Exactly. So I mean, we mix it in just so that way they could see, okay, maybe they were set on the 4-bedroom, but as the first starter step, okay, well, maybe we go to the 3-bedroom that we've now scaled back on price, we've scaled back on taxes, we can, walk before we run.
Yeah, galley kitchens. Some people swear they want an open concept.
Absolutely.
Sometimes a house that fits them might have a galley kitchen or a closed off like living in a family room situation.
Exactly. I mean, we always try and get them tick off as many boxes that we can for them. What we like to describe, especially as a first-time home buyer, is it's getting into the market. Once you're into that market, to trade up essentially is just paperwork. Yeah. So we have a lot of times where the first buyers are like, oh, I don't want to move again. This is my forever home. Things will change, either a bigger family, smaller family. Yep. So, I mean, the big step is just get in the market. Like we've preached in our other videos, like we always preach, is it's the time in the market. So you might feel like you're settling on your first home, but if you're getting into that property because you can afford it, because, the market will take a turn, it's going to go up because like everything else, highs and lows.
Yep.
Then just get in the market and kind of not be happy with what you got, but in a sense of you're in now you can worry about the next play of, okay, we're going to trade up. And, you have that goal within, let's say, the 5-year plan of, okay, now we're going to go from our 3-bedroom to 4-bedroom. Us buying XYZ allowed us to do this in a shorter time period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of what we always preach. It's a lot more than just, hey, paperwork.
So what's the one question we always ask after a showing, which we ask for all of them?
Oh, that's easy.
Why?
That's easy.
Why do we exclude a certain answer from the equation?
Yeah, that's perfect. Our mentor, actually, it was a great learning experience. So he always told us, you ask your client on a scale of 1 to 10 what they would rate it.
Yes.
With no 7. Because 7 is
exclude
neutral.
7.
So anything below 7 is a no.
Yep.
Anything above 7, 8, 9, 10 is potential for an offer.
Yeah. You have to explain why you would. If that's an 8 or a 9, explain why you don't want to put an offer on this, because it needs an explanation. If it's an 8, a 9, or a 10,
then it's a no-brainer.
It's what you're looking for.
All of our clients, especially the first-time home buyers, they chuckle at us and they're like, "No, we can't do that." And
7, we want 7.
Exactly.
You can't give us 7.
Saying, okay, 6. Which
gone.
We're not wasting any more of your time. Let's go on to the next one. Now, by eliminating that 7, eliminating that maybe particular style of home has now helped us narrow down the search going forward. So, I mean, it's all a numbers game. It's all about pretty much figuring out what they want before they know what they want sometimes.
Sometimes I feel like we kind of have the ability, just because of how many buyers we work with, how many times we go into houses, what we look for. We kind of can gauge after the first time out what they're really looking for more than them. Sometimes they're stuck on something and they
come around.
They come around, and it's not because we're trying to rush them or do anything. We just know just from experience, really, what people are really looking for. And sometimes even our guiding hand towards that product instead of another one is what gets them to finally pull the trigger on something they really like.
Exactly. And I mean, we all know that, especially in the real estate profession, it's an ego game. We check our egos at the door. It's all about servicing the client. Helping you is what we do. And I mean, it's a cheesy slogan.
That's a Royal LePage
and people will be laughing and mocking, but it really is. We don't do anything dishonest. All of our clients, we treat like family, because at the end of the day, they are someone's daughter. They are someone's wife. They are someone's sister. And we just want to do the best we can with what knowledge we have. And that's all you can ask for. If you're going to a professional, there's obviously a reason you're coming to us.
It's a win-win. No, absolutely. Like, we're not trying. No, if everybody wins, no one loses, and let's just get everybody the best thing we can at the best price we can.
Yes.
Everybody walks away happy. They tell their friends. They tell their family. The word gets out.
Yeah, word of mouth. That's our biggest, bread and butter in our profession, for sure, is
word of mouth.
The referral system. And I mean, we're thankful and blessed that we've had some great referrals, because I mean, I guess it is a testament of what we stand by. It's not just a bunch of hot air and words that we say. We
mean what we say, and we say what we mean.
Exactly.
So buyer agents. A little bit different now, looking for a seller's agent, because seller's agent, to sell your house, is a little bit different than actually the one buying your house. So what are some of the differences you look for, and how do you like to, as an agent, talk, and then as somebody looking for an agent, what do you like to do?
Well, so with selling, it is obviously different, especially in our industry. There's so many agents now that we could probably, throw a dart and find an agent who would pretty much sell their grandmother just to sell the house. And there are a lot of the 1%.
They do it for free.
It's pretty much doing it for free, because then they get the buyer side. And what we always say to that, when they say, can you do it for less? And our answer is no, is if this individual is not
able to negotiate
their own commission and their livelihood and what's putting bread on the table for them, do you think that they're going to have an issue selling your house for 10, 20, maybe hundreds of thousands under asking?
What it's worth?
Yeah. No, they have no problem. And we've seen it time and time again. Obviously, we've had listings that we've lost, that they've gone with another agent, that it hasn't sold. We were called back. We've charged what we've charged, which is the industry standard, because we believe in what we do. And we've sold their house. Or there's been other times where they've sold with a 1%er and they've lost tens of thousands, and then they call us afterwards to kind of see what they could do. And there's nothing you can do. And we never solicit. We never go after anybody who's under contract.
And not to compare ourselves with doctors. Obviously, we're not doctors. No. We're not surgeons. We're not
saving the world like that.
We're not saving the world, but you could use this same question for anything in the world. Mechanics, realtors, doctors. The question is, if you need a surgery, a life-saving surgery.
Another one from the mentor.
If you need a life-saving surgery, do you go to the doctor or the hospital and say, hey, can I have your cheapest doctor? Whatever the cheapest doctor is, can I just get him? Or the cheapest mechanic?
Exactly.
Can I get a mechanic who will charge me as little as possible to fix your car? Or do you want the best? Because chances are you might pay a little bit more in commission, but you might make more in the sale of your house.
Absolutely.
Or save more in the buying of your house.
Absolutely.
Remember, if you find an agent who says, "Oh, I'll do it for 1%, I'll do it for $100, do it for $1,000," if he has another 20 clients that he's doing everything at a discount, is he going to put the time in for you that he would if he was getting paid a full amount?
Fly by night.
It's the nature of human beings. Yeah. People don't put as much effort into things without a return.
There's no skin on their back. Like it is what it is. They made their $1,000 flat fee, their 1% commission. They're on to the next one, to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and unfortunately, at some point it catches up. But it's at how many lives have you affected And how many farms, like we like to say, have
Don't
you
give away the
pretty much
farm.
given away?
Don't give away the farm.
And it's like the old saying, only like rich people can afford to be cheap, because I mean, most people, this is your single biggest asset that you'll ever own in your life. So I mean, if you want to just squander it away and you want to try and pinch some pennies, I'll tell you, we got some horror stories and we can go through them and we can explain. I mean,
comment below if you want to hear some of our horror stories.
and just to finish up on the seller side, there's a lot as a selling agent that goes into it, between the photography, the staging, the overall prep of the house. Some of these houses we see that hit the market, it's like you couldn't even pass a vacuum.
Well, we've personally cut the grass. Absolutely. We've cut down trees, branches, trimmed bushes. We've vacuumed floors. We've moved furniture. We've personally brought stuff in and out. We've done moving services on listings. We've done
full service.
We've done full service in the past for certain houses, right? So some houses are picture perfect, just the way they are. Some houses aren't. So everything comes at a different price, different rate, different time to get it ready. It's nothing's a one size fits all in this industry ever.
And thankfully now, with us being on a good team, there's the whack of professionals that we have between cleaners, photographers, stagers. Everything's done properly. Everything's done right. That's not to say that, when we're on our own or agents on their own that take it upon themselves to do it. You'll know a lot by your agent's work ethic. And this is more than when we hear people saying, well, you make a lot of money just to sign some paper. It's a lot more than paper.
It's way more than that.
It's keeping the farm. It's making sure you're getting the most exposure, the most bang for your buck. Like anything else in life. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions that we definitely can answer. We're going to try and do a question and answer type of thing for all as the comments come in.
Yeah.
Let us know any other future topics that, you guys might want to hear.
Yeah. Comments are open, right? Whatever you want to know, any questions you have.
Any questions you have. I mean, we say it like it is. We shoot from the hip.
Shoot from the hip. All right.
All right, guys. Till the next one.
Till the next Realtors. Investment Realtors Podcast. Go to Realtors Podcast. Listen up. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
Take it easy, guys.